was a philosopher in the original sense of the term, which is a lover of wisdom. That's what the word means, to love, to seek wisdom. And wisdom is not just something in the head. Wisdom is a state of the whole human being. A person who's wise, who not only knows the truth, but can live it. So the philosopher, as Socrates was someone who seeks to be wisdom, not simply to know facts and propositions and ideas. He was a teacher of wisdom in that sense, a seeker. The whole culture has deviated from that. We've all deviated from that. The whole modern culture tempts us and draws us into just one part of ourselves. And Socrates and Plato after him taught that only the completely integrated being is a true human being. So yes, academic philosophy has deviated from that, but almost all of our lives, we no longer have that in our hands. We have to look, many people are looking, and many things are breaking through that we didn't know about or didn't take seriously before, from ancient times, from the East, from God knows where. This seems to be a time when everything is pouring in, and certainly we need some new life, new understanding in our culture. I tell you, it's a very strange thing, and it may sound sort of maybe even obvious, but I don't think it is. And I've discovered it in my work with groups like you mentioned, doctors, business people, psychologists, religious educators, young people. Real inquiry is a tremendous moral transforming force, and that's what Socrates was. He was inquiring, searching, questioning. And he knew how to do that. It's not just questioning and looking for a quick answer or an explanation, but that the process of inquiry, of questioning, of opening, opens something in the human being which has not been touched in our culture. So it's not a question of whether you're in this field or that field. Everybody who is human has in themselves a potential of a passionate inquiry after truth. And that's the transforming force. Now that's what I'm doing, and no matter where I am.
You know, it may have been a bit serendipitous that I referred to you as a psychologist, because it seems as if what you're really talking about is the psyche itself, the ancient, which is
absolutely
refers to the soul.
It was never separate. Philosophy and psychology were always together.
Yeah.
And it's only a modern thing in our culture that there's been a separation between the search for wisdom and transcendence and the study of the mind, one's own mind, and all its possibilities, not just the pathology. So it's true, it's the 20th century is the time when philosophy, psychology got separated off, but it never was that in the past. So yes, I think I would like to think of myself as trying to be a psychologist in the ancient sense as well as a philosopher. It's a tough one, and it took me a lot in my book to explain it.
It meant a lot to me when I read it.
It's hard to put it in a quick description. A concept is a kind of mental tool of organizing data and facts, and it's kind of like a computer, an aspect of a computer or a filing system, and very useful. But it's part of a rather automatic part of the mind, which the human being has, and is very useful. An idea is like an expression of a fundamental reality, a force in a way. And it takes, sometimes its expression is in words, in abstract formula, and sometimes it's in images, sometimes it's in geometric forms, in art forms. So the verbal expression of ideas is only one way of communicating something, speaking about something that goes beyond the just the isolated intellect to understand. And it's very hard to put this quickly in any other way, but ideas come from a deeper level of the human mind. Concepts are the ordinary mind functioning as it should to organize, cut, dry, put in file cabinets, to be accepted by the intellect, but they need to penetrate down into the heart and the guts, and that's what concepts don't do particularly. The idea of even what we're all familiar with, the idea of God, it's an idea, It points to something that may or may not exist. I think it does, what's real, but it's an idea. It didn't just appear automatically like like a rock or a stone. Somebody had this vision of the idea of God, or the idea of the universe, of a oneness, in many in one, or in the ancient Chinese, the idea of the yin and the yang, the two, the constant interplay of two forces in the universe. This is an idea, and now the head can figure out the conceptual way of doing it, but it can never really understand it, because with ideas, to understand it, you have to experience it. It means you have to be immersed in it with your whole being. So it's a very big difference, ideas. And you're right, there's been a tremendous confusion between ideas and concepts, and therefore the conceptual mind has tried to do all by itself what only the mind of the whole person is able to do, and that's been a problem with our whole society.